Hello. My name is Beth Green, and otherwise known as Granny Rocks. And this guy over here
Here's
is.
James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James. Welcome to Lighting the Way with Granny Raps and Rob.
And there may be some flipping going on in this the screen. I don't know. We are not broadcasting on YouTube tonight because I ran into some new problems. So, but who cares, right? We're going to go on. I hope it's not flipping around on Facebook the way it looks on my screen, but we'll find out. Okay, the important thing is we're here, and hopefully you are here too.
Yes, I'll check this one.
Okay, so tonight I want to talk about why do we do the things we do, and what is going on in our unconscious minds.
Mm-hmm.
And, it looks like, yep,
We're on.
it's messed up. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to use that camera, and I'm only going to use this camera, or I'm going to try. So we'll see. Think I know how to do that? No. So I'm just going to go on like this and hope for the best. Then it's already not working. Okay, so guys, I had a dream
Yes.
the other night. And in this dream, it looks like it's going back and forth between these two cameras. I apologize for the camera jumping up and down. I had a dream that,
Oh, by the way, we're getting word from Amy that says, what a wonderful topic, and both cameras look fine.
oh, really?
Yeah, so at your end, looks like it's okay.
Well, that is
And looky here,
wild.
Todd says, hi there, you two.
Hi.
And Catalina says, good evening.
Good evening.
And Todd sends lots of hearts of love. Thank you, Todd.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody. And Tracy sends a heart of love. Hello.
Oh, thank you. I feel so supported. Oh, my goodness. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
So even though on my computer everything is flying all over the place.
Thank
So
God.
no, it is
At
it is
home.
jumping up and down on your computer too.
Oh, well, that is true.
Oh, Todd says he's seeing the
Oh,
front
he's seeing it
camera
jumping, too.
Yes, me too. Okay, well,
Okay, so we look a little jittery. You know?
right. Okay, so in my dream, I lived in a house with 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was the main floor, there was the second floor, and then there was the basement. And the basement was getting flooded.
Oh, boy.
And in fact, it was seeping into the first floor. So what could be done, right? So that was what that dream. So, but the point of it was that I needed to find out what that dream meant. And what I realized was that the 3 levels of the house had to do with my 3 levels of consciousness. One is, our everyday consciousness. We're talking,
main
we're
floor,
rapping, we're
right,
that's the
okay.
main floor. And then the second floor was upstairs, right? And that was the one where I'm going to get rid of this shot, I think. Delete. Ooh, failed to delete shot. It's currently live. Okay.
That's right. Well,
Okay, let me try it again.
just go with the flow then.
Okay. So,
Oh, Karen's here, by the way.
oh, hi
And she says,
there.
hi, Beth and James. My screen is shaky, too. Lots of laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sounds
we
like love.
we know that it's messed up. The question is, can I do something about it? And I'm going to try. Okay. So I think I did it. So we'll only have this shot. All right, at least we won't be like having a nervous breakdown.
Right.
In the process of trying to fix this, I lost YouTube tonight, so we're not live streaming on YouTube. But oh well. So anyway, getting back to the dream. So I
we
came.
got the main floor covered.
Yes. So I realized that the basement was the unconscious mind. Now, why is the basement the unconscious mind? Well, because it's down below.
It's below the
And-
threshold of a conscious awareness.
Right. So it's like it's hidden from view. So now I started thinking about, well, where does this unconscious mind comes from? And this is all going to have to do with our reactions and why we do what we do, right?
Mhm.
Because the what's in our unconscious mind to a tremendous degree impacts how we react and how we respond in every situation. And we often don't know it because we don't even know what's going on down there, right? It's in the basement. So to put it in very simple terms, okay, you have a life experience and you are conscious of that experience, right? But after a while, you've lived more and more and more time and more years, and you have a lot of memories, and you just stuff some memories down in the basement, and you have some memories in the main floor in your ordinary consciousness. And by the way, upstairs is kind of like our higher consciousness, where we sometimes are able to rise above all of it and be objective and look at things from a higher perspective. But I'm not going to talk about that very much right now. I want to get back to the basement. So you see, it's not a woo-woo thing. What I'm saying is the basement is full of memories that we don't consciously remember.
Including conditioned patterns that we
Exactly.
don't remember.
So when I say they're full of memories, I mean, could you actually survive if you remembered everything that you did every day and everything you read and everything that happened? I mean,
Overload.
you wouldn't
Come on.
have any room for thinking. There would not be enough gray cells on the planet to deal with that. So you stick them under there and you compartmentalize them. But actually,
Oh, God says, I like your analogy, the basement.
thank you. And isn't it a relief to not have that jumping screen anymore? Okay. So the thing is, we may not have any memory or any conscious awareness of what's in that basement, but that what's in the basement is impacting us tremendously. See, like in my dream when it was flooding, right? It was even getting up into the first floor. You know, if the basement, the water keeps coming. Okay. So what is in that basement? So first I've said it's all these things that I am not realizing that happened or that I remember, something I saw on television, for example. But there's another thing that can flood into the basement, right? Someone else's thoughts and feelings. So now we have, in my case, almost 79 years. Well, then I was in the womb too. So the years of memories, which I, have to forget some of them in order to function, right? And then I also have the impact of everybody around me. Their consciousness is going into my undefended, poor little basement.
Right.
Stuff is pouring in, sewage, etc. So now, why is this important? Because a situation happens, or an opportunity occurs, or a challenge is in our way. And so what is determining our reaction? We think it's our mind, but it's really coming most of the time from the basement. It's what's in our unconscious mind is determining how we react, and we don't even know it. So let's say there is a correspondence between what's in my unconscious mind and what's in your conscious or unconscious mind. And what do you think is going to happen? It gets reinforced.
Right.
So I don't even know where this shit is coming from. I don't know if it's coming from my unconscious, his conscious, the world. I read the newspaper, whatever it is, the collective consciousness is like all in the basement. And here I am drowning. And then I say, what's wrong with me? I'm such a jerk. Why am I having this fear? Or why am I having this reaction? Well, a lot of times we don't say, oh, what a jerk. Why am I having this reaction? We just have the reaction. And we assume that it's perfectly right and normal. And most of us, isn't it true? Come on, get honest. we rationalize our reaction. Well, of course I felt that way. You did this, or he did that, or they did this, or whatever it is. And so now we're very comfortable. Well, of course I had that reaction. I mean, but we're not saying, well, where in my unconscious mind is that reaction coming from? And it is not always easy to figure it out. Now, I want to talk a little bit about if what's in my unconscious mind and it matches. Oh, it looks like we have a comment.
Oh, looky here.
Yeah.
Amy says you're absolutely right about how what's in the basement impacts what we do and how we react to things. I've had a major experience with this just a few days ago. Too long to write here, but we can discuss it with the group after.
Great. We have a group that meets every Wednesday after this show.
That's right.
We call it Seeing Through New Glasses. You have to pay for the group. Of course, this is free. And you belong, and you get to talk about how what we talked about on the show actually related to you. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
really
form of group therapy.
very good. It's very good. You can let me know if you're interested. Beth@bethgreen.org. So, thank you for that comment, Amy. So, I realized something today. Oh, look, we have.
Oh, and Blanquita says, hello, Beth and James, and sends 2 hearts of love. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Abrazos, Blanquita. She really loves me on these shows because she doesn't speak English. She doesn't know what I'm saying.
She might know some of them.
I don't know. But she loves the music too. Anyway, she's a lovely person. Okay, so now talk about she's a lovely person. I want to tell you, okay, I am going to be 79 years old. Most of you are probably a little younger, or maybe a lot younger. Maybe some of you were older. Now, when I was a child, what images did I have of women?
Yeah, the ones that existed in the 1950s,
1940s.
even the 40s.
I grew up, I was born in 1945.
That's right.
And
those first 5
you
years.
were
I was
born in
44.
1944, and it looks like one of our
Yes.
Ukrainian friends has said something.
Yes. Vasily says, good morning, friends. Glad to see you and listen to great music dialogues. You guys are one of a kind.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Vasily.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Vasily.
He sends a heart of love and a rose.
Oh, yes, thank you. So, I saw no women in the public eye. You went to a doctor's office, the doctor was always a man, and the nurse was always a woman.
Right.
Okay. Now, there are similar things. Where you looked at the House of Representatives or the Senate.
All men. All men.
All men, white men.
White men.
All white bread, right? All white bread. So, and when I was a radical in the movement, who do you think were all the spokespersons? Men. Men.
Well, this time you had men of color, too.
Men of color too, right? All oppressing the women. And I kept trying to get my voice heard, but nah. And I remember as a child that I had 2 options. One, of course, was to become a wife and mother, which was not my destiny. Partly because I was too sick to bear, I didn't have the health to have children, but that was not my destiny anyway. But you could become a nurse, or you could become a teacher. But I don't mean a professor. I mean like you could teach maybe up to high school. After that, I mean, I don't know
Forget
where the
about
women were. Forget about it. Maybe there were some, but I didn't know any. So that's what I saw every single day. To this day, this is so embarrassing. Are you ready for this embarrassing
to the
statement?
people over there?
Oh, to this day, and this is so embarrassing. If somebody says, I went to the doctor's office, I immediately think it's a man. It's embarrassing to me that I would be so...
Still think that way.
So I still think that way. And the amazing thing was women started popping up in unexpected places. Now, there was Eleanor Roosevelt, but she was the wife of the president. So, you know, she was kind of special, right? And there was Marie Curie. I mean, you know, give me a break. So you know, one here, one there, if you're lucky, even in the arts, right? And as far as black people were concerned, there was Aunt Jemima. That's what I saw. Didn't
Yeah.
you, James?
That's right. I saw Aunt Jemima. Yeah.
I mean, that was it. So it was exactly the same thing about blacks. Now, in today's world, we complain about what's going on, you know, with oppression of women, and there is plenty, and I want to talk about that in a second. But in those days, it wasn't even like questioned. You know, I mean, just that's the way the world was. And I didn't want to be a nurse. I couldn't stand the sight of blood. And I wasn't strong. And I didn't want to be a public school teacher. I didn't like children particularly. I knew I would be lousy. So I had to become a revolutionary because there was no choice. So things began to evolve. And of course, I was part of the women's movement in the early days and so on. But this is not my history I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's in the basement. Do you understand? What is in the basement is years of images of women always.
And I just want to add that growing up in a household where the man had entitlement, I always felt that I was entitled and to be one up when I was with a woman.
Absolutely.
And when something didn't fit that picture, I found it quite upsetting.
Found it in the past tense. We'll get to that in a minute,
Past
but
tense.
we have a lovely
Oh, and
message.
Katya says, Magnifico.
Gracias,
Muchas
gracias. Thank you so much. You know, it's like, okay, the woman is the actress, the man is the director. You know, my mother was a bookkeeper and she had a supervisor who was a woman, but the person above her was a man. It's like, you know, it's just like that way, or white or something. So now I have all of these images and associations of women having to be less than a man. And you have all these associations that women are supposed to be less powerful than a man. So what
That's what I grew up
happens?
with. That's right.
That's right. So we have two similar basements, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, my mother was not a slouch. She was smart. She kind of ruled the roost, and so I would say, oh no, my mother wasn't dominated. But the truth of the matter was that my mother was, in many ways, dominated in the world. And not only that, but because my father wasn't as powerful than my mother, everybody thought he was a wimp. See?
You didn't fit the picture.
He did not fit the picture. Now, I've talked a lot about the toxic effect of these stereotypes on men and how they have to always prove themselves. But here what I'm talking about is if we have the same basement, then if I start to become more powerful, James is going to freak out because that's what's in his basement, right? And I am going to pick it up in my basement. So even though in my conscious mind I'm thinking, oh, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Women are powerful, and oh, I'm so glad to see in some places that this paradigm is changing, although if you look around the world, it is unconscionable how women are treated in so many parts of the world, and even here. But you guys of your generation, whatever generation it is, if you're younger than we are, right, you have different images. You know, it's no longer the time of Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby as being at the top. I mean, and then there was always like that one woman like Ella Fitzgerald, right? But in general, the world of jazz was completely dominated by men. You know what I
true.
mean? And so even if you look at the rock and roll period, it's mostly men. And the electric guitarists, mostly men. Now, it doesn't mean there weren't any women, but I'm talking about the public images that are in our basement, you see, that we see. So we said, oh, yeah. I even asked James, do you know of any women who play the electric guitar?
And I just knew of the one who played
Right.
in the band called Heart.
Right. He could think of one. So it's like me thinking that even to this day, if somebody says doctor, I immediately associate it with man. It is in my unconscious mind.
Yep.
It's in the basement, and it comes up and it ruins everything. So if we have the same basements, then that is going to make it even harder because that
To
reinforces it.
change, right.
It makes it harder to change. So I'm saying I'm pretty damn smart. I'm
Yes.
pretty damn powerful. I'm pretty talented, whatever. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm, I don't know, Taylor Swift, whoever is big now. I just discovered Taylor Swift. And she's a pretty powerful woman. I love this. Today when you see women like J-Lo, who's not even current, but she was at one time. She was really showing the power of women, Latino women.
Oh, yeah,
And
sure.
so, you guys who grow up in different periods have different images in your basements.
Beyonce with black women.
That's
as
right.
well, yeah.
So I may say, oh yes, I am powerful. I have a right to be powerful. But if he doesn't think I have a right to be powerful, that's in his basement. Is that going to seep into mine? Yes, because the unconscious minds are connected. We live in a collective consciousness, or you could say the collective unconsciousness. We have so many of the same assumptions, stereotypes, prejudices, traditions, ways of thinking, like whites are better or whatever, right? So, in that collective unconscious, there is the boundaries are not as rigid as we like to think. Oh, this is my mind. This is my neurosis. Personally, it's mine, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you're being impacted by the nuttiness of people around you. So I gave, in my book, Living with Reality, which is still a free download on our website, healingartsnetwork.org. Fabulous book, really, if I do say and I am going to say it
I would
myself.
say so too.
It is a fabulous book. You can get it for free. It'll change your life if you can practice it. But
It's like a manual for self-improvement.
it is,
Self-transformation.
and for understanding ourselves
Yeah,
too, in a
understanding.
very compassionate way, right?
Yep.
So we've got to be compassionate with ourselves. So here is this stuff, and I don't even realize that I am connected to the unconscious minds of people in the nation. All of a sudden, Biden's economy is great. Yesterday, it was shit. Now, what do you think? Oh, yesterday Biden looked weak. Today he looks strong. Yes. So I was just using him as an example. In the collective consciousness that may even be fed by the media, all of a sudden there's a different story, and we start feeling different about things, and we don't even know why we feel different about
That's
things.
true.
And I was saying that in Living with Reality, I talk about going into a room, and if people in that room are anxious, what do you think you are going to feel?
Anxious.
Anxious. Because our basements are connected. And so, of course,
Better call the plumber.
yeah,
There's leaks crossways.
there's a lot of our conscious minds also that connect because we read similar books. We're looking at the same media, whatever. So
Not to
a lot
mention
of
the
this.
school system is training us to all
Oh,
think
that's
in
right.
the same ways.
Exactly. So my point is, oh my God, we are running out of time. My
Oh my
point,
God, you're right.
believe it or not,
You get to your main point there.
well, my main point is, why do we react the way we do? Because of our basements. And then we try to rationalize it, which is even more silly. And because it's very hard to get into the unconscious mind and see where these things are coming from. But it's all reinforced through our connection to each other. So don't think that it's all coming from you. It's really important to remember that many of your reactions are coming from the past, from the basement, which was dominated by the experiences and the feelings and the attitudes of the people, the basements of the people around us. So my mother may have thought, oh yes, I'm powerful and I'm deserving. But she didn't feel that way. She always felt guilty about being smarter than my father and had to do something about that. So her unconscious mind, the basement of where she grew up in an even worse time than I did. And I'm picking up what's in her unconscious mind, not in what is in her conscious mind. And we are playing off each other's basement. Do you get my... So this is all I really can share with you today because time is up. But I want you to think about this and be aware of this fact. And ask yourself, because I need to look at my reactions to being powerful. And why do I give away my power? Either go, fighting, which I've done, or give it away in some way. Why? Because on some level, I'm being drowned by the flood in my own basement. And I've got to pull that plug. And I recommend that you do. You can use our book. You can get counseling. You can meditate on it about what is really in your basement that might be impacting the way you see life and what you do. And we'd better stop.
So, please do like, love, share this show if you feel inclined. And be with us next time.
That's right. And I am going to upload this to YouTube, so it will be there under Lighting the Way. I just have to do it. And hopefully we'll figure out what's going on with this laptop. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I'd love to.
Night?
Tomorrow night is music. Magical Improvs, where I play the piano.
And I sing.
And James sings. And we love it, and we love you, and we hope you come. And please like and love, as James says. And follow our page.
Yeah.
So, thank you so
Glad
much.
to have you with us.
Absolutely.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.